the plate. And I don't mean the pot. I mean the plate steak or the plate cut of meat. Boy, I have been looking for the exact right cut of meat for shredding for so many years. I can't even tell you how many times I have shredded a chuck, a brisket, trying to get that perfect shredded Mexican taco or machaca, which is a version of like braised shredded meat. It's been so frustrating. And then randomly one day I was at the Mexican market and saw this cut of beef, and it said, but in Spanish it said meat for shredding, and it was relatively inexpensive. I think for this piece of meat, I don't know, I paid less than $10. And all I have on it right now, not that that's important to what we're talking about, is just a little salt, some allspice berries, some bay leaf, one tiny little clove of garlic, and a little bit of onion, a drop of soy sauce, and a drop of Worcestershire, just to bring out more of that meaty flavor, but not to give it too many, just to reinforce it. But anyways, so what I want to talk about is getting that shredded beef. I couldn't find it. I tried like butchering it so that the chuck was longer. And of course, if you cook chuck enough, it will shred, but it doesn't give you the right beefy flavor. And then it can start feeling like, I don't know, grainy. And then I found this little beauty. It is the craziest thing. It's like they're trying to keep us from this cut of beef called plate. So let me show it to you. It's not the prettiest thing in the world. It has this sinew. Normally I would pull something like this off immediately, but this is going to keep together. It's going to keep the meat kind of together, and it's of no consequence, because no matter what, we're going to end up peeling this when we start the shredding process. But I find it helpful to keep the meat together, and it doesn't do it any harm. So it's kind of a fun fatty. It's almost like a hanger steak. It's almost like a brisket, but it's not. It's a very fun cut of meat, and ultimately it's so beefy. It gives you like the beefiest flavor. It's so funny because these cuts of meat are not very popular anymore. You just don't see them. You just normally see whatever sirloin, or which I love all of them. My favorite cut of beef definitely is, God, I always try to come up with the one I love the best. I'm gonna have to say ribeye, I guess, because I just love ribeye. But anyway, I love them all. But back to why I love this particular one, because it's so flavorful and beefy, and then you can cook it in your red sauces. You can see how long the grain is, so it creates that nice long shred. Of course, you could cut it. I could cut it now, but I'm not going to. Normally, I would cut it in half just to create a shorter shred. But let's get on with it. So I've got this just lightly seasoned. Like I said, the seasoning is not important. You have to adjust it to your needs. And then I'm gonna put some water, just fresh spring water, enough to cover. Oh no, that was about, I don't know, 4 cups of water or something. But again, just figure out how big your pot is and the size that you cut your meat. And that's it. I'm gonna put it at a low simmer, and I'm gonna cook it. I'll let you know how long, but I'm anticipating bringing this to a very low simmer. And of course I'm going to be skimming it, which means just like when that little foam comes up, we're gonna get all that out. I would normally add the seasoning after I did that process, but for the sake of time and process, I just added it now. I know how to kind of move around it. if you need to add a couple of extra of these allspice berries or whatever. This is a flavor that you often see in birria and different kinds of Mexican style dishes. And of course, some of the sweet herbs taste really great with beef. But so just get this going. We're gonna put it on a low heat. The secret is we do not want to bring this to a rapid boil at any point, because the meat will shrink. That sinew will, I mean, if you did do it, it would eventually tenderize, but we're trying not to get it there. We're gonna try to remain a slow simmer, so it's just sort of poaching away. You know, maybe poaching isn't the best word. It's just cooking away on a very steady but gentle heat. All right, our plate is cooking. I've skimmed it. The liquid still looks clear. Liquid still looks clear. I'm going to cover it, and I'm gonna leave it at this gentle simmer. You see how the bubbles are just barely coming up? I'm actually even gonna turn it down some, because once I put the lid on, it's going to increase the heat, because it's gonna capture all that heat in there. So that's how it should look. I'm still going to check it regularly and turn it every now and again. But for right now, it's good. Liquid's looking good. There's still a little particulate. You know, by that I mean just those little specks in there, but it's too hard to skim out. And I'm not, I am gonna use the liquid that it's cooking in, but just to store my meat. I'm not necessarily gonna repurpose it for anything but the dogs. So they'll get to drink this at some point. Guess who's at hour 2? It's us. Okay. We're gonna turn. Maybe if I just get further away and... Okay, let me... Okay, hour 2. I just flipped it. I don't know if I kept that previous video. It got all foggy. But as you can tell, my broth is still very clear. Poking it or attempting to pierce it is still giving me lots of resistance. I'm going to put the lid on again. The simmer still remains very gentle, and we're going to put it in for another hour. Well, I took it out. So here it is. Total cooking time was about 4 hours. I made a light dinner and just sort of had it sitting in its broth. Now I'm gonna let it cool just a little bit to handle. I know it's ready because it's tender, and you see I can already start shredding it. I don't want it to get too soft right now, because this is going to require a second cooking process, and it's going to have some carryover cooking for whatever, you know, and just in this liquid. So I'm going to leave it in here until it's cool enough to handle. It's later in the evening, so I'm just going to let it cool off a bit. I'm going to start shredding it. I'm probably going to cut it in half and then shred it, but I want it to show you how long it is. It's too hot to handle. Okay. Well, you get the point. That sinew at the bottom is kind of keeping it together. But once this, like I said, once this sits in the liquid, it's going to be a lot easier to handle. and shred. Here she is. I've shredded most of it, but I did want to show you how simple it was to shred. I haven't even had to cut it, but you know, you just get it with 2 forks or however you want to shred it. And you can see how it goes like with the grain. So this is the grain up and down, and then you just pull it. It almost shreds itself. The lighting is not great, but this is how you get the perfect meat for shredding. There's still some juice here, which as soon as I'm done shredding this, I'm going to do the final shred. I've taken off all the sinew that was on the back of it. Here it is. And it just peeled off so easily. So what I'm gonna do is, once I finish shredding my meat, I am going to put some of this juice back on there, and I'm going to reserve it until tomorrow. And then you can go ahead and make whatever you want. But here it is, plate. The beefy, nice textured solution to all of your shredded taquitos, your shredded beef crunchy tacos, anything you can think of that you want a shredded beef, and sometimes you just feel like chuck is too soft and has that weird grainy texture, or brisket is too fatty for what you want. And so this has a really great beefy flavor, and it just fell in my lap. I'm so glad I tried it and found it, because I never could figure out what the right shredding beef was. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me get to shredding, and let me get to putting some of this juice. This is an important part of the process, adding some of the beef juice back into it. You see how little is left? Because once I open this meat up, it's gonna have a tendency to dry, and I want it to reabsorb that moisture and get all those flavors of the onion and everything back into the meat, and then tomorrow it will be ready for use. If you're gonna use it the same day, I would still do it. I would just put a little less of the liquid because you don't wanna, you don't wanna add all that additional moisture to your tortilla or whatever you're gonna do with it. But it's definitely a great idea to do that. All right, my phone has such a weird color. All right, wait. Okay, if I do this, the color's a little more accurate. It looks a little gray. Okay, that's it. That's really it. If I do a video tomorrow with this meat, I will label it what to do with your shredded beef. No, I'll probably just say shredded beef something or another. But this is enough. Make your own delicious recipe and let me know what you made. Have you been looking for the perfect shredding beef, and you've tried chuck, you've tried brisket, and it wasn't quite right? Well, I've got an inexpensive and beefy solution. It's called plate, and I'm going to show you how to make it. I cooked it, I shred it, I put it in its remaining juices for now. I'm gonna put it back in its container, and I hope you'll try it. It's very easy to do, and it's very inexpensive. Okay, I got it all juiced up, and it's time to put away until tomorrow. Good night. Beef for shredding. It's the next day, and now it's time to make something with it. I'm gonna make some beef tacos, and I tasted the meat, and it tastes lovely. It is so tender, flavorful. Resting it overnight just made it really yummy, and it took some of that kind of a dryness feeling out of it that these kinds of shredded meats can have, especially if it's not like a brisket. All right, I'm gonna chop it. My arm's kind of hurting. Hold on, let me see if I could do it with my left hand. I'm not ambidextrous, but okay. I had a little bit of a fall today, thanks to my cat, the beautiful Judith. You don't have to do this, but I've noticed that if you keep the strands too long, when you bite them, you could pull out all the meat in one bite if you don't have really sharp teeth. Haha. Okay, I'm just gonna do that. And then the next step is gonna be, I'm just gonna do one. I think this should be enough meat. Okay. I've got some tortillas that I've heated up just quickly in the microwave. And I've got a little of this paste, just to kind of use it as a glue. It's just flour. I used a little organic King Arthur. Use what you have on hand or a toothpick. And then fold. If you were making this into a taquito, of course you would roll it up like a cigar. Okay, gonna keep building these. I don't need a ton. And I don't really want this to be a complete seal because I'm gonna open it and stuff it with lettuce and tomato some kind of a sauce and cheese. So I just made up 9 of the tacos. And I still have plenty of meat. If you are just a meat lover, then boom, Bob's your uncle. You just fry them like this, put sauce or cheese in there, and you're done. Like I said, I plan on frying them, opening them up from the top, and then stuffing them with more ingredients. But that's just how simple it is to get all of your meat dishes. If you were doing a chopped barbecue sandwich, you know, omit all the spices or keep them and chop the meat up and then just put this in barbecue sauce. And then you can just put it right on a toasted brioche, or if you're doing low carb or no carb, you could just wrap this in lettuce, chop it up. However you do it, this is the meat. All right, I'm still dealing with my injury, but I kind of have my husband helping. Not really. He's not really that helpful. But anyways, so I put the tacos in. The only thing you have to remember is to kind of flip them. You don't want to over crisp them if you plan on opening them up. If you don't, then that's it. You just fry them up like this. I'm going to pull them now. They're going to continue to carry over cook. And I think the only time that I would say you should probably always use avocado oil would be in this situation, because it gives you a nice clean finish. This is used avocado oil, but it really adds a good flavor and a good color. But if you have it fresh, all the better. You can make lots of tacos. Okay, I just took them out of the fryer and then tried to just put them like open face side down. I'm still going to open them up with a knife on the part where we put the paste. This is an important process. So the idea is just to get them cut as fast as possible before the oil carryover cooks it, so we can kind of open it up. Unless you just want to eat it like this.
You can't be all like, you gotta get in there and cut it. So right. That's what happened on the first two. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But you gotta, man,
you gotta get in there. That's it. All right, so that's how we do it. Okay, push the lettuce in.
Push in.
Not in, but like put the frilly parts on the outside so it looks decorative. You know what I mean? Like people still like that crunchy center, but we don't want to see all that. All right, now cheese.
Oh, cheese.
Mm. I'll do the sample. Okay, plenty of cheese. Pack in the cheese. Now, if you don't eat cheese, don't put cheese or put a cheese substitute.
I love cheese.
Good technique. You see how you're putting the pretty parts at the end? You want it to look decorative, all right?
Boom! Throw some cheese on it.
What secret communication were you trying to have with me?
What?
I think that's good. Unless you want more. Apparently you do. All right, some tomatoes. If you wanted, this would be a good time to add lime juice or lemon juice or... Huh?
We got lemons, don't we?
You want that?
Who doesn't want lemon on their
All right,
taco?
well, just get it from the fridge. I have some cut.
All right.
All right, so
What do I do?
you said you don't want sauce. You don't want salsa.
Yeah, so what do I put this first? Or
So all right, first put the lemon because we need something to, you know, lubricate the lettuce and the tomatoes.
Do we have
What is it
another
gonna
one or is
stick
this
to?
the only one?
We have like I think 3 more whole lemons.
This one isn't giving that much juice at the end.
No, they were dry. It's the end of it. It's not even. This is last season. Remember that citrus is a winter crop. I think that's plenty, because you're still gonna. You're not. I think that's good.
If you
Just
don't
put
like
a little
good
bit of start with onion powder.
Onion powder?
Right here. I put it right in front of you. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna put like.
This one?
Yeah. Hold on. There you go. Go.
How you do it? Man, I'm gonna
Just
blow
lightly
this. I don't want to
sprinkle.
do it.
No, just go. You can do it. That's good. That's
See?
more than enough. All right.
See?
That on each one, but less.
no.
A little less than that.
Oh,
Go,
man.
go. No.
Boom.
All right. Always, you know what? No matter what, even if you did add salsa, it's best to just give that preliminary seasoning to the greens. Nobody likes sad greens, do they?
No, side greens suck.
Do you want to put some ranch dressing or anything on here?
No way.
Okay. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. I feel like it needs something creamy.
The salsa made it creamy.
All right.
All right, I'm out.
All right. My dad got you those beers today.
Thanks.
Shredded?
Mm-hmm. I'm saying that's all you want in your taco.
Oh,
your
I
crunchy
get it.
taco.
All right, well, that's the video, y'all. Maybe I'll just release it in this long form.